people, and welcome to this opinion piece where I am truly going to stir the pot and discuss the Kove 450's versatility in more depth. Rally breed or adventure steed? Dakar dream or adventure machine? Stick around because this one is an absolute hornet's nest. Man, I really am starting to love this bike. It is just so versatile. There's quite a bit of water in that exhaust, I think. Easy, mate. As you'll have seen earlier, it didn't get stuck in the bog because it's not as heavy. It just skips around on top of stuff. So much fun off-road. It just doesn't sink as much, does it? Not as much weight behind it. As I alluded to in my intro, the Dakar dream or adventure machine, rally breed or adventure steed. Maybe it doesn't need to be, or maybe it should be, and can a bike comfortably do all of those things? For as long as we've had motorcycles, people have been traveling and competing on them. With that has come a myriad of opinions as to whether it is the right tool for the right job. People have made a living out of those opinions. I'm trying to entice you to watch this video based on my opinion. It's never ending. Everyone has an opinion on what is good and what is bad and what is right and what is wrong. Now, of course, objectively, some bikes are going to be better at certain jobs. Maybe you wouldn't take a Gixxer Thou to ride around the world. Maybe you would ideally take, I don't know, a GS 1300. Now, of course, that is still an opinion, and many people have objectively proven that statement wrong and ridden what you could class as less ideal machines around the world or off-road. That doesn't necessarily mean it's right or wrong, it just means they've chosen to do so. Now, that said, there's never been a time where so many bikes could happily do so many different jobs. Bikes have indeed become more versatile. Another thing that surprised me with this Kove 450 is you can really scratch it around on these little B roads as well. It just likes going fast actually in general, road or off-road. I have just got back from another 2-day trip around Wales of approximately 600 kilometres. It had a load of road work at the start and it had a load of road work at the end. Everything in between, from gnarly lanes, easy lanes, boggy stuff, rocky stuff, B roads, A roads, motorway, you name it. I did it in the last few days on this Kove 450 with my luggage strapped to the back, all my camera equipment on my back, and it performed perfectly. When I dropped the original Kove 450 review maybe 2 weeks ago, I did what I normally do and I shared it amongst the obvious forums on Facebook and the like, partly because yes, it helps the algorithm, but it's also a good way to generate conversation. And generate conversation it absolutely did. Something I got quite a bit of, which surprised me somewhat, was it's a rally bike, it's a race bike, it's not for strapping luggage to. Wrong bike for the job. And my personal favourite, these rally bike reps, I'll quote it to you, these rally bike reps are being bought by middle-aged blokes to ride on boring green lanes whilst flattering their egos and making them feel like they are riding a Dakar bike. I mean, that cracked me up. There's quite a lot of effort that went into it. And yeah, maybe they're right, but also, so what? Your money, your bike, you do what you want with it. I did reply asking said person whether they were a paid pro on a pro deal, because throwing dirt like that around and making comments like that must mean you're an absolute boss on a bike. Shock horror, they didn't reply as expected. Now, it did get me thinking about what this bike is really for. And actually, are we riding the wrong bikes for the right job? Let me explain. Take me as an example. I like to do a little racing here and there, a few rally-esque events, maybe a roadbook rally or two, and even maybe an enduro playday thrown in. But mostly I'm completing day or multi-day trips, maybe even week-long trips and adventures on my own or with my pals on varied terrain, some pretty hard and challenging, some actually fairly easy. I need a bike for that matter that will be happy at some slow speed tech. It needs to carry flow and speed over rough terrain. It needs to be comfortable to sit on all day for multiple days. It needs to take on some road work happily. It also needs to carry a decent amount of fuel, as well as have options for me to strap camera equipment, some luggage and everything bar the kitchen sink to the rear end of it. Guess what I'm saying is it really does boil down to what you want to see when you open the garage door. You have to look at it and feel inspired to go and ride, to map a new route, to go and get stuck in some bog in the back arse of nowhere. Take my wife as an example. She has a Himalayan 450, which she loves. She loves how it looks. She loves how it inspires her to get out and ride. Yes, it's a little heavy and the aesthetics of the bike are a little bit dated, although they have done their best to bring it into the contemporary. To her, it feels like it tells a story. It encourages her to get aboard it and tell her own story. Maybe you want to rally on a Sunday and commute on a Monday, or maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to do some easy green lanes with your pals once a month and occasionally pop to the cafe on a sunny summer's evening to eat cake. And maybe you want to do it aboard a fire-breathing Dakar replica. One person's ideal is another one's flawed. But actually, who are we to judge either way or otherwise? One thing for sure with the Kove 450 is that it does indeed look and generally perform like a rally bike out of the box, which I should add, it does that at a sum far cheaper than much of its competition. Now, compared to others, yes, maybe it's not as happy sitting on a motorway as a Tenere, or maybe it's not as happy sat on a motorway as my wife Rachel's Himalayan 450. However, it is actually far superior to many of those bikes once you take it off-road, and it is very adept at strapping your luggage to the back and doing a multi-day trip across a country, which I now have done a few times. It is actually, in my opinion, far more versatile than some of those other bikes. So to summarise, I think we should probably stop this judgy BS about what a bike should be for and maybe take it back a few years to where we were looking at things a bit differently, where we looked maybe at bikes as what it could be for. If it ticks all the boxes for you, then it's probably the right choice. For me, I need a one bike fits all, and the Kove 450 Rally may just be that very bike.
Honestly, this bike is just such a unique creation. Yeah, of course you could create it using other bikes as a base model, but nothing that kind of comes out of the box like it. I'm on a kind of mission to prove that actually you can take a bike like this and use it for everything, including a bit of racing and a bit of rallying. It's just really surprising how versatile this machine is. Sat on it on the road, it's perfectly comfortable. Some technical steep, technical, loose, slow speed lanes. That obviously isn't its forte. The engine wants to sing. It's not as happy when you're like feathering the clutch and going slowly. But look, can't be great at everything. So for those people that say, oh, you're just buying a Dakar-esque rally rep bike to flatter your ego, well, I say you're wrong.
Wrong.
I'm also going to be dropping a video very soon of that 2-day trip with my pals as more of a feature piece rather than an opinion piece. I really enjoy doing these opinion pieces. I'd be stoked if you get involved in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you have some questions or things you want me to bring up in the future, give me a shout. As always, appreciate your support, and I'll see you on the next one.